Did you know the Philippines experiences an average of 20 earthquakes a day? Most are too weak to be felt, but the ground beneath the islands is constantly shifting. Now, experts are issuing a chilling warning. The country could be overdue for a magnitude 9.0 earthquake. What would that mean for the millions of people living there? Let's break it down. Today, we're tackling a very serious and urgent topic: the possibility of a magnitude 9.0 earthquake striking the Philippines. This isn't about spreading fear. It's about understanding the science, the risks, and most importantly, the life-saving preparations we all need to consider. The term, the big one, has been circulating for years, but recent seismic data and geological studies are giving it a new sense of urgency. We're going to dive deep into why this warning has been issued, what it could mean for the entire region, and how preparedness can be the key to survival. The Philippines is one of the most seismically active countries on the planet. Why? It's situated on the infamous Pacific Ring of Fire, a massive belt where most of the world's earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur. The country is squeezed between several major tectonic plates, the Philippine Sea Plate and the Eurasian Plate. These colossal plates are constantly moving, grinding against and sliding under one another in a process called subduction. This immense pressure builds up over time, and when it's finally released, the ground shakes violently. The primary concern for a magnitude 9.0 event is the Manila Trench, a massive fault line that runs along the western coast of the Philippines. Scientists believe this trench is capable of generating a megathrust earthquake, the most powerful type on Earth. The last major event along this trench is believed to have happened centuries ago, which means an enormous amount of stress has been accumulating since then. A magnitude 9.0 quake would be exponentially more powerful than the recent quakes the country has experienced. To put it into perspective, the energy released would be over 30 times greater than a magnitude 8.0 quake, and nearly 1,000 times greater than a magnitude 7.0. The potential for widespread devastation is immense, not just from the shaking itself, but from the secondary disasters it would trigger, like tsunamis and massive landslides. So, what are the geologists actually saying? Recent studies published by various international and local institutions, including Volcanic, the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, have been modeling the potential impact. Their research isn't a prediction of when it will happen. That's still impossible with current technology, but rather an assessment of the hazard. They've mapped out the fault lines, calculated the potential energy buildup, and simulated the ground-shaking intensity. These studies are the basis for the warnings. They are a scientific call to action. Historically, the Philippines has a long and tragic history with earthquakes. We can look back at the 1976 Moro Gulf earthquake and tsunami, a magnitude 8.0 event that was one of the deadliest in the country's history. Or the 1990 Luzon earthquake, a magnitude 7.8 quake that caused extensive damage in Baguio City and other parts of northern Luzon. These events serve as grim reminders of the country's vulnerability. Each one provided crucial lessons that have influenced modern building codes and disaster response strategies. In response to these growing concerns, the Philippine government and local authorities have been stepping up their preparedness measures. You may have heard of or even participated in the nationwide simultaneous earthquake drills. These are designed to train the public on the duck, cover, and hold procedure and to test the response capabilities of emergency services. New buildings are now required to adhere to stricter structural codes to withstand intense shaking. Evacuation routes are being identified, and public awareness campaigns are constantly running on TV, radio, and social media. However, the scale of a 9.0 event would test these preparations to their absolute limit. The challenge is not just about having a plan, but ensuring that millions of people know it and can execute it under extreme pressure. Now, let's get to the most critical part: What would a magnitude 9.0 earthquake actually look like for the Philippines, especially for densely populated areas like Metro Manila? Experts paint a sobering picture. The initial ground shaking would be incredibly violent and could last for several minutes. Think about that. Not seconds, but minutes of continuous, terrifying movement. Structures that are not built to the highest seismic standards would likely collapse. This includes older buildings, bridges, and overpasses, effectively crippling the transportation network. Power lines, water pipes, and communication cables would be severed, leading to widespread and prolonged blackouts and a complete loss of communication. This would make rescue and coordination efforts incredibly difficult. For a country composed of thousands of islands, the damage to ports and airports would isolate many communities, cutting them off from essential aid. The economic heart of the country could grind to a halt. But the shaking is only the beginning. A megathrust earthquake occurring at the Manila Trench would displace a massive amount of water, generating a catastrophic tsunami. Coastal communities along the western seaboard, from Luzon down to Palawan, could be inundated by waves several meters high, arriving just minutes after the shaking stops. For those living near the coast, there would be very little time to evacuate to higher ground. The sheer force of the water would sweep away everything in its path. Furthermore, the intense shaking would trigger landslides in the country's many mountainous regions, burying entire communities and blocking vital roads. The potential for a humanitarian crisis on a scale never seen before is very real. This isn't just about Metro Manila. A quake of this magnitude would be felt across the entire archipelago and could even trigger activity on other nearby faults. The impact on infrastructure, the economy, and human life would be catastrophic and long-lasting. The recovery process wouldn't be a matter of weeks or months. It would be a generational effort. This is the reality that experts are trying to prepare the nation for. The warning isn't just a headline. It's a plea to take the threat seriously and prepare accordingly. The decisions we make now, the kits we prepare, the family plans we create, these are the things that will make a difference when the ground starts to shake. So, to recap, the Philippines faces a very real threat from a potential magnitude 9.0 earthquake originating from the Manila Trench. This is due to its location on the Pacific Ring of Fire. While we cannot predict when it will happen, the scientific evidence suggests that the risk is significant. The potential consequences, from collapsed buildings and crippled infrastructure to devastating tsunamis and landslides, are staggering. This is why government preparedness, and more importantly, personal and family preparedness, are not just recommended. They are absolutely essential for survival. Staying informed is your first line of defense. What are your thoughts on this? Have you taken steps to prepare your own home and family for an earthquake? Share your ideas and preparedness tips in the comments below. You might help someone else. And if you found this video informative, please check out our other videos on creating an emergency go bag and developing a family disaster plan. Thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe, stay informed, and be prepared. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our future updates. We'll see you in the next one.